The brainstem is the oldest part and central core of the brain, beginning where the spinal cord swells as it enters the skull.
The medulla controls the heartbeat and breathing. Reticular formation is responsible for the sleep-wake cycle, suppressing muscle movement while dreaming. Pons plays a role in sleeping and dreaming and respiration. The cerebellum coordinates voluntary movements. The thalamus receives incoming sensory info and relays it to the cortex.
The hypothalamus plays a role in controlling motivated behaviors, automatic functions, appetite drives, emotional states, and the pituitary gland.
The basal ganglia works with the cerebellum and the cerebrum cortex to control voluntary movements.
The pituitary gland controls growth and regulates other glands. The hippocampus is important for learning and storage of long-term memories. The amygdala influences aggression and fear and the fight or flight response. The corpus callosum is composed of neural fibers connecting the brain hemispheres and carrying messages between them. The cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the brain and is used for most complex functions. The frontal lobe is used for personality characteristics, intelligence, and voluntary control of muscles.
The motor cortex controls voluntary movements and is behind the frontal lobe. The somatosensory cortex is behind the motor cortex and detects and interprets information on touch, temperature, pain, and pressure, and it allows us to perceive the size, shape, and texture of an object that we touch. The occipital lobe processes and responds to visual stimuli. The parietal lobe, which is at the top and near the back of the cerebral cortex, is involved in higher cognitive functions such as planning, reasoning, and self-control. The temporal lobe is involved in hearing, language processing, and memory. The larynx area is involved in understanding spoken language and is found in the left hemisphere of the brain on the temporal lobe. Broca's area is involved in speech production and is located in the frontal lobe near the motor cortex on the left hemisphere of the brain.